Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. As today we got another episode of reviewing NHL teams offseason so far. As today we're going to be talking about the Washington Capitals, who honestly made some pretty good moves, had a really good draft, but there's still a lot of worries to be had here with the Washington Capitals, with their defensive core and also some of their big injuries there. Nicholas Backstrom most likely going to be missing this upcoming season, and same with Tom Wilson missing majority of it. So before we hop into this, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well, and make sure to click on that join tab as well to become a member today. We got some amazing emails and you get some early content and some amazing other stuff as well. It'll be very much appreciated. But before let's get into this now. I don't got anything else to say, so let's get into talking about the Washington Capitals and talk about their offseason, which honestly, I liked a lot of the moves that the Washington Capitals did. Of course, there's a lot of big worries. Is Darcy Kuemper really going to be that guy, and you lock him up for 5 years at the age of 32 years of age? When he definitely seemed that he was carried big time by the Colorado Avalanche's defense. The guy's been up and down a lot. Like, he won the Stanley Cup with probably one of the worst records, and he was so inconsistent during the playoffs. Is he really going to be that guy here for the Washington Capitals? Is really going to be kind of the big concern. So let's get into the very first topic of discussion, which is their draft. And quite honestly, I really like their draft. They got two guys that I was a really big fan of, and Ivan Marchenko, which is a guy that I think got diagnosed with something. I can't exactly remember what it was. But Marchenko is a guy that I am really excited about. This is a big left winger. Has good speed, great shot. He's a great offensive ability. He had like the kind of a potential to even be in like the top 10 sort of area. So this is a guy that could be a really good piece for the Washington Capitals moving forward. Was great in the Olinka Gretzky Cup, having 9 points in those 5 games. He did absolutely amazing. And then another guy that I was a real big fan of is Ryan Chesley. Great defensive guy, right-handed, is a great second-round pickup. Not too bad offensively, but he's just a really good two-way guy who could be, a future top 4, top 6 type of defenseman here for the Washington Capitals. So that builds up their prospect system a little bit better. The Washington Capitals, they've been doing really good drafting every single year. I do give them that. They've been quietly a really good team drafting-wise. With Hendrix Lapierre, they got Connor McMichael a little while ago. They've just been really good at quietly building up their prospect system, especially since they're kind of going on that downhill trajectory with Ovi being at 37. Their team is going on that downwards trajectory. Their team's getting a little bit older. Sooner or later, the Washington Capitals playoff window is very much going to continue to dwindle, and it might even continue to dwindle this upcoming season. The draft, I quite like. They made a lot of good moves, a lot of good draft picks, especially since they were able to pick up a few draft picks and a few of the trades that they did make, with them trading away Vitek Vanecek and a second-round pick to pick up a little bit of a further second-round pick and a third-round pick in this deal. Vitek Vanecek was not going to be able to, you weren't going to be able to sign him to the deal that he kind of wanted, which was $3.4 million. And the guy was just all right for the Washington Capitals the last 2 seasons. He wasn't playing that amazing, wasn't, your starting guy. Plus, they wanted to go after Darcy Kuemper, which was that really going to be the best idea to go after Darcy Kuemper? Is Darcy Kuemper really just going to put up the same amount of numbers as Vitek Vanecek? Hey, most likely. I think Darcy Kuemper is going to be a guy that might be a 9-10, 9-15 save percentage, especially with this defense score. The Washington Capitals defense score is not the best in the world. You got Dmitry Orlov and Nick Jensen, which are pretty good. Harvey was and John Carlson is defensively. He's great. He's good, but not amazing. So I think with Darcy Kuemper, he's definitely going to be in Washington, where the defense core is a lot worse than what it was in Colorado. So I think that's a big thing as well. Then they were able to pick up Connor Brown for just a second-round pick, which I quite like this deal. Connor Brown, great two-way guy, produces a lot of offense. Is going to be a guy that most likely will be either playing up on the top line or the second line, kind of depending on where he's been going to go and play. He's buddies with Dylan Strome. They played way back with the Erie Otters as well. So really good pickup here for the Washington Capitals, getting Connor Brown. It's not a bad move. You only had to give up a second-round pick for a guy that's going to give you, about 40 points, 45 points per season. I don't think he's really going to be a big 50-point guy, but you can definitely see him getting around that 40-point range, 30 to 40 points per season. So I really like the move here by the Washington Capitals, picking him up. So we'll move right into the signings and some of the moves that they did signing-wise, which they didn't make a whole lot of great moves, not a lot of big ones. They did get Eric Gustin, which I really don't like that. Eric Gustin's just not a very good defenseman. Marcus Johansson, he had a good season this year. Is he really going to be a guy that's really going to have a big part of their depth-wise? I don't think so. He might be an all-right third-line guy, but he just had an all-right season this year. He's been kind of off and on, Marcus Johansson, so an all-right pickup there for the Caps. Then they also got Charlie Lindgren to a weird 3-year deal at 1.1, which I thought this deal was really weird because Charlie Lindgren hasn't played a whole lot of NHL hockey, like only 29 games in total. And he played, his best hockey just this past season where he's been up and down, not even playing that great in the AHL. So I think this is kind of a weird move because if he doesn't work out, I mean, it's only 1.1 million, but still you're tied up against the cap and you're going to have a guy that's a backup goalie locked up for long term. I think it's kind of a weird move. Darcy Kemper now is their biggest signing here. They signed him to a $5.25 million deal for the next 5 years. Now, Darcy Kemper, I've been a fan of, but this has been a guy that has just been up and down, up and down. He's been injury prone before. This is a guy that if they do lose him to an injury, this could be a big fault. And this is a guy that's only played 2 seasons of 50 games where he's posted some good numbers. But this past season with the Colorado Avalanche, he showed a lot of inconsistencies in his game. Where, like, in Arizona, he looked like he was the man in Arizona. Like, he looked like he was the true stud. But this past season, he just didn't look too amazing. There were some games where, oh, man, this is the Darcy Kemper we've been looking at. And then there's some other games where he's just an absolute bombshell out there. So I think this signing definitely could hurt the Washington Capitals very much in the future. But I don't think it's the worst move in the world, because of the fact that the Washington Capitals, their trajectory is going downhill right now. Like, their window is very short. So picking up a goalie like Darcy Kemper right now might actually help them. But if he just doesn't perform to the quality that they want him to perform to, it might end up being pretty bad. I think a big thing is depend on how their defensive core performs as well. And, this top 6 is not very great. The top 4 is pretty decent. The top 2 is all right, but there's still, I think, a lot of concern to their defensive core. And I think Darcy Kemper will definitely see a drop in his numbers, I think, a little bit this upcoming season. So just be ready for that. And then Dylan Strome, I like this signing 1 year at 3.5. Dylan Strome had a really good season last season for the Chicago Blackhawks, putting up 48 points in 69 games. Doesn't play too bad defensively, generates a good amount of offense, and I think will be an all-right replacement for Nicklas Backstrom. Definitely not going to be the best replacement for Nicklas Backstrom. I mean, you really can't replace a great player like Backstrom, but still a really good player in Dylan Strome. So for this offseason here for the Washington Capitals, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing. The Darcy Kemper move has a lot of question marks. Their goalie tandem just has a lot of question marks in general with Charlie Lindgren. Haven't been playing a whole lot of games throughout his entire career. Darcy Kemper is only going to be able to play, 60 games at max, maybe even 50. So you're going to have Charlie Lindgren being able to play at least 20 to 30. And we haven't seen Charlie Lindgren play that amount of games before. So I think that will definitely be a big question mark, is can Charlie Lindgren be a goalie that you could rely on for a decent bulk of the games as well? So I think that's a big question coming into this upcoming offseason. Can Dylan Strome be that big guy? Can Connor McMichael take that next big step? Can Anthony Mantha have a big season and stay healthy? I think that's a lot of big things with the why do I keep saying Colorado? With the Washington Capitals, they got to stay healthy this upcoming season. That's a big thing. So my grade on them, I really like their draft. I like the move for picking up Strome and Brown. The Vitek Vanecek trade, honestly, was kind of a dub. They did get a pretty good amount of picks out of a goalie. That hasn't been fantastic. Darcy Kemper is an alright goalie. The cap hits, the 5-year deal is definitely going to be a little bit steep, because that's going to be bringing him until he's 37 years of age. So I think that's a little bit of a question mark, locking up a goalie all the way until he's 37 years of age, where most likely you're definitely going to be seeing a drop in his game. So for me, Washington, my lord. For Washington, I think I'm going to go with a middle of the pack B. There's a lot of moves I like, but there's not a lot of moves I'm not a big fan of. The Darcy Kemper move is quite weird. You know what? I'm going to give it a B+, because I really like the Strome move. I like the Brown. A lot of the trades I do see as W, and not going to really hurt the team in the future, because this team is going on that downward trajectory. If they don't sign anybody to long-term deals, that's too stupid. Like, I don't see it being a bad thing here for the Washington Capitals. Like, Darcy Kemper might hurt them in the future, but he's only on a no-trade clause, so you could easily buy him out later on down the road if he's not that type of guy. So, honestly, yeah, I'm going to give this team a B+. I liked a lot of the things that the Washington Capitals did. I thought they did quite well. I'm excited to see how well they'll do this upcoming season. Biggest thing that they didn't really improve upon was their defense score. I still think there's a lot of holes with that. But for now, guys, I'm going to leave you here. Tell me, guys, in the comment section below what you guys thought of the Washington Capitals offseason. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.